You want to learn how to run your comps in a way so that you can make smarter decisions about whether or not to invest in that property. My name is Arfa Damani. I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I help specifically those individuals who are real estate investors or are wanting to become real estate investors, and I help you buy off-market properties. I'm going to show you the exact process that I use to run my comps and to identify whether a property is a profitable deal for me or not. So if you're looking to fix and flip, or if you've had questions about running your comps, this is the right video for you. First, I'm going to give you an example of a property that is a distressed property that needs a little bit of work, and how we identify the true value of that property, how we take a look at the assessed value of the property, what are the rental comps in the area, what are the comps in terms of what was sold recently in the area, and what is available in the market right now that's comparable. So let's go ahead and dive in. So this is the property that we are going to be exploring today. By the way, if you are interested in getting emails from me about off-market listings, then click the link in the description so that you can be notified every time I post a new property or I have something available for you. Now, mind you, these off-market properties sell pretty quickly. Like I have sold something in 3 hours of receiving a notification. So make sure that you are signed up so that you don't miss out on any of these hot opportunities. So let's go ahead and take a look at this particular property. This is located on 1419 Wiki Lane, Cedar Hill, 75104, and it's priced at $267,500. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath, and about 2,300 square foot. But it's a pretty big lot over here, and we can see that right here in the description, it's 0.6 acre. So a lot of land there. Let's take a look at some photos. Obviously, that's one of the first things that I do just to get a better understanding of how much work is going to be involved, right? But just by the looks of it, I am seeing some outdated wallpaper in the bathroom, some old carpet. I'm also seeing the fireplace maybe needs a new coat of paint. The kitchen cabinets need a little bit of a renovation as well. Rehabbing definitely these walls, probably either, getting rid of them or coloring them in a way so that they look a little bit more modern. So all of those things need to be done, and you can run your numbers to see like what is it going to cost you for this type of square footage, right? So carpet replacement might be another $6,000. Painting around the house, I mean, retail value could be 10 grand. Obviously, if you have someone else or if you have cheaper labor, then maybe $5,000 or even less if you're doing it yourself. Small things like replacing the door handles to look a bit more modern, a couple of $100s there. Maybe you can hire a handyman for that job. So just run those numbers. And also when you walk the property, you can check for HVAC. You can check how old the roof is. I always recommend bringing a contractor with you to identify what all needs to get done and how much they will charge you. And you can do that before you even buy the property or go under contract or anything like that. So let's go ahead and look at the comps. So these are the sold comps, and I'm going to download them here quickly for you, but I'm also going to show you how I run my own comps on the MLS. And because I'm a licensed agent, I obviously have access to that. But when you work with me, I send you these listings with the comps, so it saves you hours of your time as well. I'm also going to show you the tax records. So you notice this property is on sale for $267,500, but the tax records show that the property is being assessed at a much higher tax rate. So you can see right here, it's just taking a minute for it to load. So right here, I'm going to zoom in for you so you guys can see that this particular property is assessed at $421,590. $421,590. I mean, that is a good spread. $421,590 minus the price of the property, which is $267,500 at this point. $267,500. We're looking at $154,000 and some change over here. That's how much budget you have basically to resell this property, to fix it up. Now, the rehab should not cost you $100,000, right? But even if it did, you're looking at $54,000 in profit, right? So just keep that in mind when you're looking at these properties. Some of these are a steal. And let's take a look at the comps and see what else is selling in the neighborhood and what was the price of that property. So this particular property sold, in the neighborhood, and it was a 3 bed, whereas the one we have is a 4 bed. It's also built in 1959, so a little bit even older than the current property that is being sold. Let's take a look at some photos to see if it's comparable. So they look like they've done a little bit of rehab in it. It was just one property. It was sold for 422. So also it is a lot smaller than the one that we have available right now. So far everything is looking good, right? This is smaller in square footage, has less rooms than the one we have. So all these things are definitely checking out for us. Now I will show you how I run the comps for if you were to like try to rent this, or if you are trying to even fix and flip and you want to see what else is available in the market. So what I do is I go to my MLS and I copy the address. Okay. And we're going to go to search residential detailed. And then I'm also going to do search residential lease and detailed in a second, and do that one as well. And we are going to do what else is in the market right now in this particular neighborhood. So I'm going to plug in the address here. I want to see what's in within a mile, and I want to know 4 bedrooms because ours has 4 bedrooms. This is a single family, so I'll select that. And I can see over here at the bottom, it says I have 4 matches. So this is what's available right now that I might be competing against, basically, right? So this is 2,300, right? Whereas the property that we're talking about is also 2,376. So, oops, right here. This is probably, yep, this is a property that we are discussing right now. So that one's also showing up on the MLS. So look at that. That is the cheapest property that is on the market, right? Anything else that's on sale is for 350 or more, right? Now let's take a look at what was sold recently. So closed the last 90 days. And the only thing we have is this 405,990. That was sold in the last 90 days. I might have to run the comps for what was sold like beyond this particular parameter. So you could do that by just simply changing, okay, I want to know what else is there within like 2 miles of this property. Or I could also change this to, I want to know what sold in the last 6 months or in a different time frame as well. So now I have a little bit more to compare against. So I have 13 properties, and we can see that these are a lot lesser in square footage. So I'll go ahead and change that and update this. So I want to see only more than 2,000 square foot because ours is 23 plus. So now that brings it down to about 10 matches that are there. And you can see the date that it was closed on. You can see days on the market, how many days the property stayed on the market before it actually closed, and what is a square footage here as well, right? So you could see we got something all the way from 342,000 up till $940,000 of property, sale price. So pretty big range that we have over here. And this was all in the same 1 to 2 mile radius here. So you can see that you've got quite a bit of a spread here. I like to look at the map as well so that you can see, okay, well, right here in the neighborhood, it's something else is going for 405 and 550, 539, right? 376, 342. So that tells you a couple of things, right? Is your property the cheapest that you're looking to buy? And also, what is the potential? Like if you were to try to sell it, can you sell it at this price, right? So you could definitely sell it at 405, you can sell it at 376, you could go at as low as 342, 940, 408, right? 550, 539, 875. So this is the sky is the limit here for you, right? And so it's good to be knowledgeable. It's good to compare a lot of different things here about your property. So I like to look at the close date. So if we're looking at what was closed recently, I like to look at the days on the market, like how long did it take to sell? And you can see it sold in like within a month. Most of these properties sold within a month, some in 2 months, and then some took longer than that. So this particular property took 121 days and it was priced at 408. And let's take a look at what's up with the property. Maybe they didn't rehab it before they posted on the market. Maybe they were, rehabbing it as they were going. There could be so many different factors. And so definitely look at the comps the way that I'm sharing with you so you can make a more knowledgeable decision. Take a look at a subdivision as well because these are not sitting in the same subdivisions. So a property in a different subdivision could have totally different comps. In the neighborhood. So it really does come down to like what's happening in that specific neighborhood. So even though for the purpose of this exercise, I broadened it up to 2 mile radius, right, and Cedar Hill, but you really are looking at what's within that 1 mile. So another thing that I like to look at is how much the rental comps is. So if I am not able to fix it and flip it, then maybe I can go ahead and rent it out as well. So since this is a 4 bedroom, we are going to click that. We're going to type the address of the property again so it can show me things in the similar neighborhood. And let's see, we've got 2 matches here of 2 different rental comps. So 2300 and 2100. One smaller, one bigger than the property that we're looking at. And let's see how far they are from our property that we are looking at. So not exactly in the exact same neighborhood, a few definitely minutes away, but within that 1 to 2 mile radius. Now, maybe nothing sold in that, in the last 90 days. So we can look at like something a little bit farther out in terms of rental. Maybe there's not a lot of people that rent in that area. Maybe it's more buyers and homeowners that live there. So these are all the comps that I can find. So if you were to rent it, it would rent from anywhere between 2150 to 2300, right? Now you can also look at what else is still on the market to be rented that hasn't gotten rented yet, right? So we're going to do click active and coming soon, and then I'm going to click results. Nothing. There is nothing available. That's a 4 bedroom that's being rented in this area within 1 mile. But maybe we can look at within coming 2 miles. Nope. Nothing available in this specific area, right? So maybe people don't rent in this neighborhood or there's not, everything's already occupied and there's nothing available. So there could be a lot of reasons for that. So means that you might not have a lot of competition when you're trying to rent this property out because there's not a lot of things in the market. There's not a lot of inventory. So your property might have a higher demand. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, I can see like what else in like a bigger mile radius is available. Right? So now I can see properties a little bit farther away, 2,600. This one's being rented for $17,000, 2,800, 2,600, but nothing in this particular neighborhood. This is how I run my comps before making a decision. Now you can also see, according to the tax record, you can click tax and property tax what kind of taxes this person has been paying, what the appreciation has looked like, what else is comparable in the neighborhood. So you can see those things here as well. So you can zoom in and you can see how much the neighbor bought the property for as well, or how much tax they're paying. The prices back in the day obviously won't really be the prices today, but it gives you at least some comparison of the property and how much it's appreciated over time, how much these people have bought it for back in the day. So you can learn a lot by exploring what else was sold in the neighborhood. Once you've done that, right, you would just do the math and you would say, okay, well, this is how much it's going to cost me to buy this property, right? And then let's say you've spent $50,000 on rehab. So let's do the math here. So 267, 500. Let's say spend $50,000 on the rehab, right? And then you calculate, okay, well, how much are the taxes for this particular property? So don't know if I pulled that record out, but you can pull it up here, click on tax. And then you can see this person is paying about $9,685 in taxes. right? So if you were to maybe flip this property, it would, let's say, take you 3 months to flip it. You could divide this number, $9,685, divide by 12. That's $807. If it takes you 6 months, then you will add the $4,842 to your approximate cost of the property, right? And so I would add those numbers up, and that's how much it would cost me to actually own this property and flip it, right? And then I can have a number, like for example, we're going to add 4,842 plus 5,000, $50,000 for rehab plus 267. 500. So it's going to be 3,222, 342. And then we have to also calculate our closing costs, right? So let's see, 267, 500. Let's see, your closing costs are about 3%. So you are going to do 3%. So that's going to be about $8,000 that you're going to add to your total, which is going to be 322, 342. So basically, out the door with closing costs, title, repairs, time, like holding costs, like tax, it's going to cost you $330,000, right? Now, when you pay a realtor, they might be charging you 2% of the sale price, right, to sell that property back, or 3%. I don't know what your realtor charges you, right? Maybe it's a friend, they charge you a little bit less, right? So let's say you want to sell this property for $485,000. It's going to say you sold it for 485. Your realtor, let's say, charges you 2%. That's $9,700, right? So let's add that to our original cost, which is 9,700 plus 330, 367, which is what we estimated earlier. And that's 340,067. And if you're selling it for 485, don't forget that closing cost that you might incur on that front as well, right? So you're going to do 485,000 times, let's just say it's another 1% or 2%, let's just say 2%. That's another $9,700, right? So that bumps up your cost to 340,067 plus that number, that's 349. So all in all, it's going to cost you 349,767, keeping in mind the $50,000 in repair, right? And you're going to subtract that from the price that you plan to sell it at. So if you're planning to sell it at 485, then your profit becomes $135,000 and $233, some change, right? So roughly you have a profit of, you can make a profit of $135,000. Now, let's say that you couldn't sell it at 485. Maybe you can only sell it like you can only sell it at 400, right? You would run the numbers again, the closing cost, the purchase price, times the 2%, times the realtor fees, right? Like you'd redo that and those numbers again to calculate how much it would cost you. And now I'm running these numbers based off of you using cash. Of course, if you're going to use a lender, those costs are going to be entirely different, right? So that's how I run my numbers. What questions do you have still about whether this property is profitable for you or not, or any other property? Type that in the comment section. Don't forget to sign up for my email by using the link in the description. And I look forward to helping you grow your real estate portfolio.